So that was the Bloomberg UTV exclusive. Now, apart from that, we're of course also talking about the markets in general. Ralph Horne is with us. Ralph, you've got these big plans on acquisitions in India, about a $50 million fund set aside. What kind of things are you eyeing within the Indian market?
The fund that we've set aside is not only for India, actually, it's exploring opportunities globally. Currently, we have a product set of around 6 products providing trading, settlement, risk, analytics type solutions into the market. I think we'd like to expand our presence perhaps more into the mature markets. We've already done acquisitions in London and New York. I think we're eyeing other opportunities there in addition to India. And in terms of target sector, I think we'd like to move more into the AMC sector in terms of the provision of software products and solutions into that sector, maybe more into risk, maybe more into analytics. And specifics such as client reporting still very interesting to us.
Have you initiated conversations in those lines with anyone within India?
Yes, I think we have actually, both again India and externally. At any one point in time, we probably talk into between 5 and 10 opportunities, but you know it can be a long courtship sometimes, and sometimes you don't actually ever get to the altar. So we keep these conversations going for sure.
Ralph, what's your general view on markets and different asset classes for this year? I mean, the start has not been great for a market like India for sure, emerging markets in general, and people are wondering if it's the Western world that will see more money flow in, or whether it's commodities which will continue to do well. What's the general sense in the year 2011?
Oh, India specifically, I mean, I think the outlook is still very, very good for India. Longer term, I think we are seeing perhaps a short-term correction. As I say, I think as long as the government can keep inflation, and particularly food inflation, under control, then the opportunities are good. The growth in the economy will help that.
You know, but here's the thing, and this is the point that we've been discussing with a lot of our international guests in particular. Food inflation has been a phenomena that has been prevalent in India for at least a year, if not longer. But it's suddenly now that the Western world seems to have sort of recognized it, or is acknowledging it and talking of it as a big concern. So what has changed over the last couple of months?
Do you know, I really don't know. I really don't know the answer to that one. I think, you know, there are spotlights on certain markets, and Latin America is a huge growth market. And of course, you know, outside of India, the story of India and of China, in fact, and the sort of 8 to 10% growth rates that these businesses are, that these countries are living with, I think, you know, outside of India and China, these economies are becoming more and more dependent on exporting goods into India, and so probably are starting to understand more about the implications of that.
So aside from inflation, of course, the big event coming up here is the budget. What's your expectation there? What do you think that can do for or against the economy and the markets?
Well, you know, again, I think probably one of the prime factors is to keep inflation under control. I think that's probably the key factor, actually. We'd like to see some continued stimulus going forwards. And probably, you know, we're a provider of trading, settlement and risk solutions into the marketplace. So we look for opportunities in that space, and certainly increased governance, increased focus on risk is all good for the sort of solutions we provide.
Do you think, I mean, when you look at business here in India, just to sort of sum it up, what are the key challenges you see ahead? What are the key opportunities? And also, the end of last year was a bit unfortunate because we had these series of regulatory issues come up, and, you know, talk of scams, etc. in the capital market. Is that at all a concern when you look at India as a market in which you're doing business?
Not massively, I don't think. I think probably for us as a business, we're growing, looking to increase our workforce by about 25%, and probably 80 to 85 for that 25% will actually be in India. Probably the biggest issues we come across are the ability to quickly recruit the sort of qualified people with a level of skill and experience that we need, and then to retain those people. And also, sorry, you know, to contain the wage inflation that goes along with that.
All right, Ralph, thank you so much for taking all the time and joining us on the subject in the studios this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
For being with us. Okay, let's just get